Well, hello and welcome. Welcome. Wow, has things gone crazy today? Twitter has been reactivated again. Instagram's been going wild. Oh, so much going on. So much to talk about. Grab your drink, your coffee, your water, whatever, and let's all get through this together. Okay, I'm going to use my new my new banner because I have a feeling there's going to be some people upset. Why do I talk about it if I know that people are going to be upset? Because she's using a platform at the moment where only certain people can see it. We have to get this out. We have to let people know that this is happening. And the only way that we can do this is to talk about it. It's only 4 a.m. and I'm going to need a cocktail. Oh, hello, Elizabeth. Hello, everybody. On my lunch break, so I'll only suffer 30 minutes. Oh, you're the lucky one. All right. So Twitter got reactivated today. Yes, Twitter. There have been people that have been very suspicious with the timing of it all, which I have to say it is all very little suspicious that I find. But there is a tweet that says, welcome back. Yes, she said, welcome back. And then someone says, okay, I'll bite. Nudge some possible engagement, welcoming yourself back. Who would welcome themselves back? Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. I'm glad you play them. I don't have Instagram. That's okay. I'd much rather do this. And I'm also going to let you know I'm not playing her first video because she did a live reaction, people. She did a live reaction of the jury giving their verdict. Now, I think that's a little bit tacky myself. Here we go. Look at all these tweets. Look, I'm working my way down. Look. I haven't even got to the first tweet yet. 19 hours. There we go. 2000. No, I'm not unblocked either, Laura. So she's got here, Ginger Duggar's husband Jeremy's disturbing sermons. Oh, wow, I was on Twitch. Okay. All right. Then she's got Christine Brown's aunt speaks out. Leave that egomaniac for good. Christine Brown confesses she can't do marriage anymore with Cody. So Ginger Duggar breaks Duggar rule by refusing to exploit her kids. I think these are older videos. So she was just trying to put all her videos because someone was pointing out that her views have been down of late. Joseph Duggar and Carlin Bates' secret courtship revealed. She was only 17. Hello, Julianne. Sisters' Wives, the Browns' 10-year con about polygamy implodes in season. Got another video. She says, catching up on Twitter. We'll be back to promoting my videos. Hope everyone has a great day. When she said she was back, she wasn't kidding. So she then said she would be promoting her videos. And I thought, you know what? That's pretty cool. She's just going to promote her videos. Here we go. But then Gabby Hanna has a lot of valid points in her criticism of the commentators that cover her. I have to agree there is culture on YouTube that makes it impossible when the cancel train is coming for you to even defend yourself without being called a liar or mentally ill. I do think the commentary community as a whole could do a better job at researching, verifying, providing a balanced point of view. We shouldn't make a creator feel attacked or like they can't share their side without being called a liar or crazy. Gabby's approach isn't the most tactful, but given the level of experience of hate she experiences, I'm sure there are times where she feels fed up. I don't think anyone can blame her. Right now, it's entertainment for you, but it's her life. She's a person. Oh, congratulations, Pia. So someone says, or completely ghosted by entire social media sites. That too, but maybe the adding is a bit too much. But I get where she's coming from with her mentality around because it's gaslighting. Really, as abusers tend to make their victims appear insane or liars. For sure, they are gaslit by abusers. Many of the channels coming for her are not doing this out of concern or any valid reasons. They make money using her name and they can't lie about it and say they don't. Some do it so far to make up lies. Researching, says Ginger Lee. That's rich. Oh, dear. I want to be in the club. You want to be in the club with all the normal people? Well, all you got to do is question her. Ask Rick how to get yourself banned. I think Rick didn't take very long. KJ's now everyone's YouTube manager. She's not my YouTube manager. I love how she says everyone's gaslighting. I know that I'm still blocked. Oops. I'm not going to retweet that. Right. So that was that one. So then she goes, I agree with her on this. Anytime women do speak out about lies or defamatory statements made about us, we are labelled mentally unwell and liars. That pretty much applies to anyone. I'm labelled as a racist and people lie about my non-existent criminal history. It's a common technique. Happens to me too. Someone said my husband was a murderer. They Googled his name and found someone with the same name. Not my husband who was part of the murder. But, you know, fact-checking is too hard. Yeah, we know, KJ. Oh, fact-checking is too hard. That's all right, Pia. We still love you all. We still love you, even if you are in. Well, you must be her favourite. Right, Michael Saltz says our office and Without a Crystal Ball are working with the FBI to identify and prosecute the hackers who have victimized both sides and others on YouTube and social media. We have not accused Without a Crystal Ball of being one or directly involved with the hackers. We understand the FBI is treating both sides and affected third parties as victims of the hackers. If you have been hacked, harassed, the FBI has asked that you file a report. If you have information on the hackers, please contact us or the FBI. Then he's shown, this is a screenshot of an account that you've allowed for the past 13 hours. So this is to Twitter. To impersonate me, sexually exploit my children, threaten to murder my children, and send DMs to me demanding money. Below is a screenshot of the new hacker popping up. So to that, it comes back to, it's all coming back. It all comes back. So this is what's got me. She says, thank you for this, Michael. Thank you for this. Michael has provided information on how to report to the FBI if you have been a victim to this horrific campaign of hacking and harassment. Michael. She called him Michael. Michael. It's Mr. Saltz to you. The FBI is treating both sides as victims of the hacker. If you are someone who is also a victim, please use this link to report directly to the FBI. And then this person says, I am the hacker, I am sorry. Now, when I went to this site, this person says they're DID, MH warrior, autistic, pretty much live life through quotes and photos, flamingos, sparkle pigeons, and has a whole pile of stuff on there. Hi, Peter. She's playing a nice moment with Michael. Just going to start calling Mickey like Mikey, Mickey. Can someone explain these tweets? You know what, Gail? If I could explain them, I would. I can't work it out. I really can't work it out. Makes no sense to me. So then we've got, this account is a fake account. My husband does not have a Twitter. This account is impersonating my husband and attempting to make him look like he's sending death threats. He is not. Please report. People need to find something better to do with their life. Reminds me of Facebook days when people had tons of fake. I set that up. Sorry. Reported. All right. So now we start on this. The jury has reached the verdict in the Derek Chauvin murder trial. Please let the verdict be guilty on all counts. George Floyd said, I can't breathe 27 times. Please lock Derek away for the rest of his life. We'll know soon. I really hope there's conviction. I do suspect a quick verdict is probably good for the prosecution. Well, I've not heard it stated that way 27 times. That is astounding. Chauvin had 9 long minutes to have listened to George Floyd, bystanders, or his fellow officers. Right. So then we've got, here we go. As a Minnesota resident and someone that grew up in Minneapolis, I can't even say it. Why do you have names? Why do you have places I can't pronounce? Minneapolis. Sorry, everybody. I am sick right now. I hope with all my might that this verdict is guilty, or I fear the entire city will be burnt to the ground. Please be guilty. Please give George Floyd's family and our community justice. With you there, drove down Central the other day and seen double concrete blocks, fencing, barbed wire at the 2nd precinct and 8 National Guard armoured vehicles was sad. It's like a war zone, not the neighbourhood I grew up in. You're more confused, Gail? Join the club. She probably had a whole, well, maybe she was thinking about Brown, not, all right. That's right, we have to still go, my Katie can do anything. And we've still got to go through Instagram, which is really longer versions of these. Derek Chauvin is just not a murderer, but an alleged thief. When you start putting victims on trial for murders, their murders, hold the same energy for Derek Chauvin. He's facing a federal indictment for tax fraud. In addition to the charges for murder, he was never a good guy. And now she's posted a link. My heart is in my mouth. The world wants justice for George Floyd. Amen. Is this all in one day? Gail, this is all in 1 hour. 19 hours ago she started, and we're, oh, sorry, it's a bit longer. We're down to 14 hours ago, so we started at 19. So 4 hours. This says, Minneapolis is shutting down. Everything is boarded up. People are bracing for the worst. Because remember when jurors acquitted Jerome Yanchez in Fernando Castillo's murder, do not let this happen again. I feel like 4 hours of deliberation has to mean guilty on all 3 counts. Feels like anything else would take way longer. Yes, so Katie Joy says, my legal advisors are telling me that a verdict this fast is not good for Derek Chauvin or the defense. She's got legal advisors now. I'm really hoping so too. I hope this is the beginning of change and the end of police getting away with murder and brutality. No matter what happens, they will riot. No, not everyone is doing it for GF. Some are doing it out of greed. Yep, our school sent out emergency robocall cancelling everything. I'm debating if I should go to work since it's in Arbor's shopping area. I hope we are the change. I too think it will be a guilty verdict. The jury didn't have a single question for the judge. Phyllis says, dang, what a day to lose internet. Who needs cable with KJ around? All right. So then, so that's the link. So now we've got say his name, George Floyd mattered, George Floyd was loved, George Floyd didn't deserve to be murdered, say his name. Then we've got, while we wait for justice for George Floyd, Dante Wright's family and his son need your support. So she's shared a GoFundMe account. I'm so nervous. I hope they got it right. Katie says, same girl, saying my heart is with you. After school activities cancelled. Now I'm debating whether I go to work tonight. Just know what it's like to live in a war zone. Talk to me after living through 9/11. That was a war zone. Oh, Peter wants an IV. Oh, Peter. Oh, dear. Then she's got Cody and Christine's Brown Isabel puts aside in feud. Then she's got no justice, no peace, no racist police. Guilty on all charges, justice for George Floyd. Now I say progress, not justice. There's still much to do. He should not be let easy. He should not be let easy with sent to dead, simply rotten. I mean jail. Now she actually did a live where she showed herself reacting to the jury. Like, yes, and I'm not going to show it to you because it was. I'm sorry, I can't watch it again. I just thought it was disrespectful. Bail revoked, remanded in custody, rot in jail, you monster. I'm crying, so happy, relieved. All right. I live in one of the most racist counties in Minnesota. My Congressman Tom Emmers just sent this email 5 minutes ago, minutes after the verdict of guilty. He said nothing about George Floyd. He only cares that Maxine Walters. This is what racism looks like in Minnesota. Make this go viral. I mean, it was probably written before the verdict, and I also just read his name in that, so I'm confused. Why is a congressperson traveling to a district that isn't hers to talk about protesters should do after verdict, especially one as tumultuous as this one? Maybe you should go to a town hall meeting. After all, you are fighting for your niece and nephew who are BIPOC. So this was obviously designed to send, and it was sent. Probably the timing was wrong, but to say that he hadn't mentioned George Floyd when it was a pre-written letter, I don't know what she wants. She's poor taste filming. Oh, let me tell you, it was a great performance. It was a great performance. Ginger Leaf says, thank you, Joe. I don't want to see it. Not even joking. This woman, I just sat beside my friend having a blood transfusion in prep for chemo. She has nothing. Hello, hello, sweet tea. Then she's got another one. Rep Tom Emmers, now she's saying he's Republican, called George Floyd's murder death. He emailed this minutes after the verdict was announced. This is racism in Minnesota. My elected rep called a vicious murder a death and care more about Maxine Walters speaking out against Siobhan. wouldn't even shed a tear if Derek Chauvin receives prison justice. Now, wasn't she talking about capital punishment before? In those 4 hours, he was taking care of her son. He was taking care of the animals. He was making the meals. He was in the house. So we're at 13 hours. So now we're 5 hours. Everything she does is in bad taste. Her legal advice: a quick verdict does not signify guilty or not guilty. It only signifies all of the strong personalities in the room agreed one way or the other. Thoughts for your friend Peter. Yes, thoughts for your friend Peter. Sunny. Right. Joe, was she all dressed up? Yes, she was actually, Gail. She was dressed up. She had off-the-shoulder top with makeup. You are correct. Hey, predictable, hey? Then she said, we got the verdict we wanted, Terrence Floyd. So she's quoting people. Gratefully, he was found guilty. However, it should have been first-degree murder. Fact it wasn't is because he was a cop. So no, it wasn't true justice because it was clearly better than nothing. George Floyd's murderer deserves life. Did you see the tape of his murder? Yes. Yes, it was like that, girl. And she's going, like, and crying because of the verdict. So she's got another quote here. My brother made history. What a day to be a Floyd, Terrence Floyd. This is victory for all of us. There is no color barrier on this. We stand together in unity. She's done a quote by Rodney Floyd. This is a Ginger and Jeremy's courtship almost ended by Jim Bob Duggar. We're nearly there. George Floyd's family is an example we all should strive to be.
I mean, what was it like when he first told you that he didn't want you to pursue his daughter after all of that?
Oh, gee whiz. Sorry about that.
Each other for...
What I can say is there...
Didn't mean to do it. Oh, there you go. Oh, she had the off-the-top shoulder there. George Floyd's family is the example we should all strive to be. They are using this tragedy to make change for all. Please help them pass the George Floyd Act. But I don't know what it is. Rosalind says she used this whole situation to draw attention to herself. She did. I have to catch up with Joe. There were a lot going on. Yep, definitely not. Do not want to see a projected activist making a complete fool of themselves. Well, it was over dramatic. She acts as if she's actually part of the situation. We are spectators. We're all wanting justice to be done, but we don't get on YouTube or Instagram and put on an act. So stupid to comment that he would be separated in prison. That is common practice. My ex was as well when I reported him. He was corrections, nothing special. So, and then she's gone, Olivia Platt's shocking confession about the state of her marriage. So, yeah, you haven't missed much, right? So that was Twitter. Yes, she's back. Did you watch it, Pia? Oh, it was horrid, wasn't it? All right. So she was back. So that was her Twitter. So back with vengeance. Shall we have a guess? Did anyone count how many posts there were today? One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So this is 11. This is 11. 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38. 38. None. She was never coming back. Only the true narcissist would know KJ would be to film herself during the verdict. Well, I wanted to know why she wasn't watching it with her family. So now we get to Instagram and no engagement. That's right. Now we get to Instagram where we get many of the same things. And remember, she wasn't going to... anyway. So we've got many of the same things. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Then we've got 2 on Jeremy Volo. And remember, she wasn't going to do YouTubers anymore. She's got stuff on James Charles, and she's got the Browns. So she's still talking about sermons here. She made a movement and trial about her. What the heck? Yeah. All right. So now, this is it. I feel sick to my stomach. The jury's reached the verdict in the Derek Chauvin murder trial. Please be guilty on all counts. George Floyd said, I can't breathe 27 times in the first 5 minutes. Derek Chauvin applied his full weight on his neck. He mocked George and ignored his pleas. Please be guilty. Please give George Floyd justice. Please give his family justice. Please think of the family right now. Send them some loving thoughts, healing thoughts, and send them strength. So this is this. Are you going to do a live video while watching the verdict? Because that would be a fun live to do with all of us fans of yours. I mean, it would be a great opportunity to have an open discussion. Again, I do apologize for using the word fun. So that's why she did it. Because somebody said, it would be really good for you to do a live. Does she realize that her favorite ex-president used to manage Point too? Rick's had 1 vaccine, I think, hasn't he? I'm sorry. Yeah, there you go. And the second shot is next week. That was crazy. Well, I don't go on there. I would. She had 38 thoughts. Well, and these, and of course, she's got longer thoughts here. So that one. And then she's got, say his name, Justice for George Floyd. I put everything on pause and streamed it and talking to a friend of mine when it came out. In the friend. Oh, Peter, that's hilarious. Well, how to get the vaccine? Because I believe your life mattered, George Floyd, she says. And it says, I don't live too far from where this happened and where all the rioting has been taking place. People are starting to put their foot down. And she says, yes, they are. That was in the live verdict, Sunny D. She was calling out to God, the person she doesn't believe in. Bail revoked, reprimanded into custody, guilty on all charges. Thank you for George. Thank justice for George Floyd. Thank you, jurors. We love you, George. I do have to show you something else because somebody did comment. If you're in my Discord, you would have seen I put a screenshot there of a comment that she deleted from a person of color who called her out for her grandstanding. So she says, this email came in at 4:28 p.m., minutes after the verdict was announced. Rep. Tom Emmers called the vicious murder of George Floyd a death and was more concerned about Maxine Walters speaking out about the trial. If you want to know what racism in Minnesota looks like, this is it. My elected official can't even muster the words to call Derek Chauvin a murderer. Instead, he's pushing to censure his colleague. This is the racism we deal with every day. Please share this. Please like the comment. Please save. Make this go viral. Tom Emmers is an embarrassment, an elected official with 3 drunk driving offences. An elected official that can't even call a man killed by a convicted murderer a murder victim. Tom Emmers, a man of privilege, a joke, a disgrace, and a racist. She should have stood back and she should have said, stand back and stand by. Then he could shut up. She said he'd defend her then. So from what I would understand is that would have been pre-written and that would have been sent out, and he probably didn't know at that stage that there was going to be a verdict. It was poorly executed. Okay, Heidi Blatt says, I just found that the mods at Reddit were able to confirm that KJ does have a great niece and great nephew who are black, though she has 0 involvement with them. She didn't know they existed previously. She talks about these people as if she knows them personally. She does, doesn't she? Then she says, yes, Gianna, your daddy changed the world. I know we can't bring him back to you, but hope this helps you sleep a little better tonight. According to CNN, Derek Chauvin was transferred to Oak Park Heights. My dad worked for Minnesota Department of Correction. Oak Park Heights is maximum security. The worst offenders in the state go there. It was recently remodeled and has an entire unit for offenders that are in lockdown 23 hours a day. My dad told me pedophiles and oftentimes cops are put in these units because they are high profile and targets for prison justice. I mean, I wouldn't shed a tear if he wasn't protected and prison justice was served. Sorry, not sorry. So there you go. Yes, please hit the like button if you can. Should never mention them before Sunday, no. So there's that one. George Floyd's family, attorney Ben Crump shared this video of President Biden speaking to the family after the verdict. I don't know why, but this conversation that sent me into a full-on ugly tear crying. We finally have a president that is going to stop the ugly virus that Trump woke up and stroked daily with white supremacists. Gianna's dad is going to change the world, but tonight a 16-year-old girl was murdered by police in Columbus within minutes of the guilty verdict. Oh, she's jumped onto that bandwagon because, interestingly, in her life, she didn't know anything about it. So this was done after that. Thank you, everybody. She'll be paying taxes to keep him alive in prison. Yeah. All right. Well, I guess what, KJ, I know mine and was holding my great niece this week and have known my family history. So she says, today was a big day, but work is not done. Thank you, President Biden. Thank you, Floyd family. Thank you, Keith Ellison, prosecutors, jurors, and the cops who broke rank and testified against Chauvin. Chauvin is a monster. I don't care what you say about George Floyd's past. Absolutely nothing in his past deserved him to be murdered in that way. Nothing justifies murder of black men and women in our communities by police. Nothing. Police need to stop the unlawful force and use of weapons. They are not above the law. So apparently now it's Trump's fault again. Trump gets the blame for everything. All right. When you're famous for the wrong reasons, Derek Chauvin known for murder of George Floyd, I'm sure his mother would be very proud. How dare she bring his mother into it? To think his police buddies were going to cover this murder up as a medical emergency, to think they lied in the police report. Thank goodness for the witnesses that filmed the murder. George Floyd was murdered. It does not matter what happened before or leading up to the murder. He said, I can't breathe 27 times. Derek had his knee and his weight on his neck. George's face was pressed into cement. He wasn't moving and he still did not get up. So she will never know this kind of family love, don't think. Yeah. Hello, feel the love. Peter, she has good message. She picks the wrong time to jump on the bandwagon. That is my problem. That is my whole problem, is it's bandwagon jumping at the wrong time. An awful thing to say, leave his poor mother alone. I mean, answer the question probably gathered. Not long ago, she was, she always has to involve people. And it's so creepy. Not long ago, she was telling people not to blame parents for what their kids did. It's correct. So then she's got this one. This is irony. George Floyd was arrested for trying to pass a $20 fake bill. Derek Chauvin is charged with 9 counts of tax fraud for claiming he lived in Florida to hide over $465,000 from the government. Who is the real criminal here? These are court documents that she's posted. What I thought it was very interesting because it says State of Minnesota, County of Washington. So, and then, so she's got here all the counts. So she's gone and got court documents. So there you go. So that is all. That is Instagram. Now I want to show you. I'm going to go to my Discord if you haven't looked at it. And I'm going to show you one of the screenshots that was taken. It was deleted because, and it was about the email. So I want to thank the Reddit people for this, because this is their handiwork. I can't contain. So she said this email came in at 4:28 p.m. after the verdict was announced. Honestly, I can't take this seriously. As a black female, it's not lost on me how this race topic is extremely self-serving and self-righteous and means nothing to you. Hang on, I've got to pull up the other one. There's another one here. Just bear with me for a moment while I pull it up. I may as well grab it from the Discord, actually. Here we go. Here it is. Here's the rest of it. Means nothing to you. You're looking for the black people to praise you for being an ally and to jump on your side, but your actions are speaking louder than your words. You've weaponized race against people you don't like constantly. You deactivated your Twitter. Then as soon as the verdict came in, you hopped back on to be this voice none of us need or want. Disingenuous. Now, she actually deleted that comment. That comment is not there. So there you go. I have to take a little bit of an ad break. I'm going to take a little bit of a break. I'll be back in a minute. I'll leave you in Rick's capable hands. Okay, I'm backy. All right, there you go. I hope positive. Why am I getting that, Amanda? You can all misbehave now. I saw where she did the video of her watching the verdict. It so reminded me of my 5-year-old granddaughter doing a video of herself. So ignorant. Look, I believe that she was looking at a camera to fix up her hair while it was done. Cancel story time. I was too quick, was I? How do I send a funny? You'll have to take a photo of it, a screenshot. Yeah. Okay, cool. All right. Yeah, that's what someone had said to me, that she was doing her hair and everything, and I thought, oh, and I did see that. I saw it. No, I missed that one. But it was really hard. All right, so here we go. We're going to do. All right. It was. I don't know how long it was. All right. We are going to watch the video. And then we're going to And I'm going to watch the video. However, please be aware, viewer discretion advised, because it may offend some people. All right, here we go. Viewer discretion advised. All right, here we go. See, Gail? Gail, you were right. You predicted what she was wearing. No, she wasn't. She wasn't getting ready of the verdict. She was sitting there on the verdict. She was sitting. She was in front of. She was on the computer for the verdict. Filmed herself as the verdict came on, and was done. Why did she think for a moment anyone would want to watch her reaction? I was glued to my TV to watch, says Christoph and Elise. She kept looking at the camera at herself. She did keep looking at the camera. She did. I'm going to put the camera on and you can go into the show with Peter. That's funny. Right, here we go.
Hello, everyone. How is everyone? Hello.
And she won't be very happy because her badges aren't working, so people can't pay for her now.
Oh, my goodness. What a day, right? What a very wild day. I am.
Peter, somebody actually asked her about her brows, and she goes off at them and tells them to turn off. I'll switch that off. I realized it didn't go away because I was doing something at the time.
Minnesota. And today was a big day. It's been really emotional for so many of us here, and I just wanted to
for so many of us.
come on and just share with you.
Okay, so this person says, is part of your eyebrow off?
How I'm feeling, and I think what this means to so many of us here who grew up here and have been through this and seen the just horrific treatment that people of color experience here by police. It's awful. And it's like
it's interesting because it's like she's talking on behalf of everybody in Minnesota. When they had sent it, okay, cool, all right, I'll post it up. Wait, what she's been through, yes. Or she's either talking on behalf of everybody in Minnesota, or she's talking about herself. Why are you talking like a baby? This is cringy and creepy. You've got 36 minutes and 10 seconds to go, Gail.
That girl, that woman that taped what happened to George is a hero, because without that footage,
George,
none of us would have seen that injustice. Like, I was listening to the president tonight talking about that woman that videotaped and how it changed all of us. And I thought about how I watched that video a year ago, not even a year ago, and I remember feeling like traumatized, right? Because if you watched the whole video, you literally watched someone murder someone. Like, when do you ever see on camera someone being murdered? You just don't.
People don't want to. I don't want to see anyone get murdered. For me, that should have been left for the court. Doesn't she have a name? She's on first name basis with the Floyd and family all. Please don't misunderstand me. I completely understand the sadness and horror of what happened to GF. I cannot understand how KJ is using this for her own ridiculous narrative. She's pathetic in my own opinion. She's using her fake emotional voice. Whoops, it's just all jumped up. Using her fake, and it's sickening. I think I'm going to hurt. Oh, this is what she's been through, and she's traumatized. So, oh, that's all right. She starts talking about her own story later. She was traumatized. She's once again making it about herself. Hello, Poppy. She's actually off her head. It made her half her eyebrow slip off. Perhaps it's stuck in her throat. Actually, she was just a 17-year-old. No, a year ago you were obsessed with Steve M. Eyebrows are supposed to be like twin sisters, not distant cousins as Sweet Tea and family. So, as I said, somebody brings up the eyebrows and she doesn't like it.
And you sit there and you're like, what the fuck did I just watch? Is this really my life? Is this really where I grew up? Is it?
But she doesn't swear either. Hey, Poppy, we've missed you.
Really the city that I love? How is this my home? I love Minneapolis. I grew up there. My husband grew up there. Like,
someone says something is wrong with your sound. Your voice sounds weird.
It's when you unpack like everything that you go through when you watch something like that, and then you think about all the people that were on the street that saw it happen, and you think about those cops that did nothing to help him or to stop it or anything, and you're like, how did nobody do anything? Like, how did those 5 cops or whoever they were, how did they not do anything? How did they just stand?
Poppy says, is this my life? Who even thinks that? I've never heard of a tragedy and thought, wow, isn't my life crazy? You ain't heard nothing yet, Poppy. It gets turned right around to her encounters with law enforcement. Sounds like it. She cursed. It's really something how she really thinks that anybody wants to hear her talk about how this is to her, and she's making it up anyway. So someone else says, what's wrong with her voice? Everyone's asking about the voice.
And let Chauvin put his entire weight onto George's neck and just let him die. And I'm like sitting there watching it last year, and I remember my husband and I were like thinking, this is really bad. We both grew up in Minneapolis. We knew the area. George was murdered not very far from like the Children's Hospital of Minnesota.
When will she stop with this? In 33 minutes, Gail. Why wasn't she protesting raising hell in her voice for the past year? Says Christopher Nelson. Yeah, well, it's good we have each other here. The normal response is, wow, that's an awful thing that happened to that person. What can I do to help? Says Jessica. Has she spoken about, she talked about, I can't remember. Don't think so. A year ago, you complained they threw rocks at your son, but never called the police. We are 1 month away from your 40 death calls, but you never called the police. I think she did mention the Dante Wright shooting, but that's where she last mentioned it.
His murder was within blocks of my old work, where I was in as a loan officer years ago within blocks of just so many different things that like we've been a part of for years.
What happened to your eyebrow? It looks like half of it fell off.
Near the Native American Community Center, just like a part of our lives. And then you're like watching the whole city react. And it's the shadow. And you watched everyone react to it. No, my eyebrow is right there. It's the shadow. Are you guys really gonna get like this about? Oh, you guys are annoying.
You guys are annoying. She called them annoying. She goes, "You guys are annoying." Really? And she's just about to block a whole lot of people. Can't watch that. I can't stop looking at her eyebrow. Did she rehearse this? We are dangerously close. She just had to stop to block her yes. That she thinks she would ever. You guys are annoying. I'm trying to make this whole thing about me, and all you care about is my eyebrows. They ruined her melodramatic moment. Oh boy! Please tell me she doesn't have a wardrobe. Not that I saw gingerly. All right, here we go. I spat out my teeth. Right. Bye-bye.
If you're gonna like ask about an eyebrow, you don't deserve to be on this live.
She's trying to do this really serious. Like it's supposed to be really serious. And someone's just told her about the bye-bye. Okay, no more tiger. Oh. And like she's so deadpan, like she's so serious about it.
And
there you go, gingerly.
it's unconscionable to me that
Someone says you should be listening to her and not being so mean.
in today's day and age, someone can so blatantly murder someone else and you can't, and you fight, and there's people fighting and justifying the murder and saying, oh, well, he went to jail, or he's not a good person, or he's on drugs, or it's always a means to try to say and justify that whoever died deserved it, so that you don't have to think about how, if you were in that situation, that could have been you, or that you don't have to hang on.
Just because it could have been you? What? Look at her, she's so pathetic, and her minions are not staying on topic again. I know.
your privilege and know that it wouldn't have been you because your skin isn't black or brown. And I'm so tired of like seeing.
There you go.
Comments right now of people acting like a congresswoman's comments really changed the totality of what happened in that case.
Hi, Lady Crane.
And let's not get distracted by racists trying to gaslight us and say that it's Maxine Waters and her problem and she tainted the jury pool. Bullshit.
Beep. Sorry, I should have warned. So she goes on about this for a moment. But my understanding is the judge did say that they could appeal, that they wanted a mistrial because of what she said, and the judge said that they could appeal. That's my understanding. So it could have some, she said tainted, it could have some bearing on the appeal. So I think, start by making change at home, KJ. I think she's going to be very careful what she says here. I am correct, Julianne. Thank you. The people in chat are trying to keep the chat in order are already in cage right. They don't. She didn't have a problem with racist when her husband was signed for that. Like, no, she didn't have a problem with racist. And she does. It comes across that KJ actually is far more versed in the law than the actual judge. So just sit and listen, because we're all going to get versed in law and why it's not going to have a bearing.
Was so much evidence. So much evidence. Keith Ellison and his team worked their asses off for the Floyds. They were not going to let Derek Chauvin walk.
Now, why was the prosecution working for the Floyds? Weren't they working for the state? Wasn't it the state versus Derek Chauvin? Isn't the charges with the state, not the Floyds? Is that right? Politicians need to shut the hell up. Reminds me of when an idiot Polly told all of California withheld evidence about Night Stalker just because she wanted to appear to be helping. She did say that, right? So can you just confirm that it's the state that prosecutes, not the Floyds? Because if it was the Floyds against Derek Chauvin, it would be a civil case. Is that correct? How does she know all this, says Christine? There was a separate civil case settled early in the year? Okay. Keith Ellison has been accused of, okay. Wow. The Floyd suit. Okay. Cool. So it's the people versus Chauvin? Okay. So it's, yeah. So in my mind and in my non-legal brain, I think that politician has done a little bit of damage. Okay, yep. So the criminal case was for the state. So, all right, okay. So who was Ellison? Was Ellison was he the state or was he the civil? Because I'm a bit confused here. So is she talking about the prosecutor?
And she tainted the jury pool. Bullshit.
So, here's the Attorney General Furman. So that's the state. So again, she's muttering. She's not quite stating the correct facts. Correct? Because she's making it sound like the state was representing the Floyds by what she just said. Ugh. All right. See, I'm Australian and I managed to work all of that out. That is what I don't know. I didn't follow the case at all, but I know that the idiot politician had no right or business in saying what she did.
There was so much evidence. So much evidence.
And this minion says, I love to hear Katie talk. She's wise. No, she's not, because she's just giving you wrong information.
Keith Ellison and his team worked their asses off for the Floyds.
See, she said worked for the Floyds. But no, worked for the state.
They were not going to let Derek Chauvin walk.
It wasn't up to them. It was up to the jury. No, the state represents the state. Criminal charges are brought by the state government. Civil. Yes, that's right. It was Maxine Walters Gale. That's who she was talking about before. First of all, the jury pool is all the people before a jury is picked. State. Okay, so she's misspeaking. Okay.
Congresswoman speaks out for civil justice and for civil rights. She's not tainting the pool by saying that things will happen. Everyone knew exactly what she was.
Oh, yeah, and she was buffering too. Everybody was buffering at the same time. So you live video pause, she paused it.
Because that's how we felt. To be burnt to the ground. We knew that. We knew that if he wasn't convicted, what happened to our town last year was going to happen to our town again.
So she's sort of saying that it's just the funny how she says it. We knew that if he didn't get found guilty, then the town would have been burnt down again. That's sort of also implying that it was not a fair trial. Just saying. I'm just saying.
So no congressperson saying what everybody else was fucking thinking changed a damn thing. She changed nothing other than using her constitutional rights to freedom of speech and sharing her opinion.
Katie doesn't understand jury taking. Katie doesn't understand the legal system is meant to work. So it was justified as guilty because we all knew that criminals would burn and loot. Correct. Can't find someone guilty because everyone wants them to be found guilty. Most of what KJ says is talking points that she cannot explain. Burning the town is never the right thing to do either. I've never in my life seen a woman person know as much as she thinks she knows. If this happens in to our town, I can't get Botox. Isn't she minimizing the win? Yes, she is. To be fair, KJ probably doesn't know the definition of the word confrontational. It's true. Right. But that congresswoman doesn't have anything to do with Minnesota. Is that correct? Like, it's not even her area. But she did on federal funds as part of her duties, not as a private citizen. Right. DB said the comment could be grounds for appeal, which is why the Congresswoman should have kept quiet. Well, that is what the judge has implied. Wish I was smart as KJ, not. Our town, she lives miles away. Which is so true. She's the definition of confrontational, says Tamara. Yeah, she's from California. Particularly when it's such a sensitive subject. However, she's an electoral official and was in Brooklyn, Cinema, Minnesota, Macon. Okay, so she was in the comp town at the right. It may not be the right thing to do, but if he would have been found not guilty verdict, there would have been riots all over the country in the West. Well, that is true, but I just don't like the way she words it. I don't like the way she words it, that's all. This is a fair and balanced trial with an untrained jury is critical for everyone to ugly, heinous things. It gives us a peace of mind that the guilty verdict valid. When Trump said nothing remotely close to inciting violence on January 6th, KJ went off about it, but M. Waters actually incited violence. It's okay. Go for it. All right.
Her saying that they wanted first-degree murder wasn't even going to happen because he wasn't charged with first-degree murder and it wasn't on the table. So don't come into my comments and talk about how this is the reason why we're going to get Derek Chauvin off. Sit for a moment and think about, for the very first time, for many people, a white cop was actually held accountable for murdering someone of color.
Now, did you all understand that? Sit and listen. Sit and listen. Did you all sit and listen? And you're not allowed to comment about the fact that he could get off. What's she going to do if the appeal was to work? What was that? I'm sorry. The very first time a white cop was arrested for murdering a person of color. How dare you come into my comments with an opinion? Oh, all right. I'll just pull that back a bit.
Murder wasn't even going to happen because he wasn't charged with first-degree murder and it wasn't on the table. So don't come into my comments and talk about how this is the reason why we're going to get Derek Chauvin off. Sit for a moment and think about, for the very first time, for many people, a white cop was actually held accountable for murdering someone of color.
Okay. I need to know who nominated her as a spokesperson of Minnesota.
George Floyd's death and that verdict in this moment is bigger, or in the same token, like they were saying on CNN, or they were saying on the local news. So I was watching our local NBC, and they were talking with like local civil rights people and the national civil rights people, and they were saying that this verdict was as important.
I think they were saying that there was solid grounds for appeal. There were valid grounds for appeal, and that's what she cracked it over. A punching bag in the corner. Oh dear. It's not the first time. KJ, look at FBI statistics. It does not support the. It's actually been racist in this video. If I would have been seeing this when I would have reported it to IG. And anyone with the polls, there is solid grounds for appeal. Well, as I said, the judge said that they could they could appeal. They had solid grounds for appeal, and that's a red flag for me. If the judge is telling you you've got solid grounds for appeal, I'd be in a panic if I was in the defence. That was so hard for her to spit out with her eyes. Don't come in my comments with an opinion. Mine is the only one we're talking about. It's popping into and say, good morning, KJ needs to leave this alone. You are correct.
To the United States history as Rodney King's verdict and O.J. Simpson. And so if we could get...
O.J. Simpson got off, didn't he? Or was he found... What? Doesn't even understand her own case dismissal. Why would anyone listen to her? Yeah. I don't know why she brought that into it. Someone says, I watched the whole trial. It was evident he was guilty.
Verdict. It's like, they were saying on the local news. So I was watching our local NBC. And they were talking with like local civil rights people and the national civil rights people. And they were saying that this verdict was as important to the United States history as Rodney King's verdict and O.J. Simpson. And
I don't know. He lost the civil case but got off on the criminal case. That's what I thought. Yes. Hello, Will. Is she just rhyming off the POC because she knows? I don't know. It's bizarre.
So if we could get this verdict, it's like how did they, if you think about it, if you grew up in the 90s, you know who Rodney King was. You saw him get brutalized by cops. And all of them walked away. And what George Floyd went through is equivalent to that because someone laid on his neck for 9 minutes. 9 minutes. And said, I can't breathe 27 times, asked for his mother, and died. He was already compliant. He wasn't moving. There was literally no reason for Derek Chauvin to be on his neck. Derek Chauvin looked at the people videotaping.
Somebody called Chiefly Unavailable said profoundly more important than OJ. Someone else says, I think it was more important than OJ. But Poppy, yes, how is OJ relevant to civil rights? I don't know. I've been trying to work that one out. Okay, even as a Dane, I get she's totally off here. Is she going to cry? How come she said nothing about Elijah McClain's death or about the cops bringing out the riot squad for violin back to peaceful memorial of his death? Don't know, Will. It's a good question. Oh, dear.
He was arrogant. He was mocking George Floyd. And he didn't let up. And you know why? They were just saying from a media perspective that it was like as big as OJ. I'm not saying that it was more important than OJ. I'm just saying it was like from a media perspective.
Oh, she's clarified it now from a media perspective. OJ proved that if you are black but a pro football player and a movie star can get off. Oh, she's talking about a media perspective. But that's not what she was saying.
It was like as big as OJ, but from a civil rights moment, this is like a huge civil rights moment because these kinds of convictions don't happen. We went through this a couple years ago with Philando Castile's murderer, Geronimo Yanez, murdered Philando in broad daylight.
And now the person is apologizing because they misunderstood what she was talking about OJ for. Everyone apologizes to it. I'm not apologizing to you, KJ. You're not making any sense. How many times is she going to repeat the same thing? She sounds so condescending. This live is giving me vibes of Kendall Jenner giving a riot cop a can of Pepsi in that ad. Embarrassing and tone deaf. OJ proved that if you stop taking your meds, your hands swell up so a glove won't fit. Why do they apologize to her? 21 cops have been convicted of murder manslaughter in the last 15 years. Wow.
By the cops of the city I grew up in on a traffic stop, and he shot and killed him in cold blood. And Geronimo was acquitted. So we knew in Minnesota what can happen.
There you go. It's because they're in that KJ cult. I don't know, I could be wrong, but I've heard that drunk people repeat things over and over, just saying that Ottawa and wine is going to catch up with it. But it's not Friday night. She only drinks Friday nights.
So it's been an emotional day. Because I think a lot of us here didn't think it was going to happen. I know I didn't. I was really worried. I just know, like, how things go here all the time. But honestly, I think there was something different that happened in this trial. And it's nothing that this congresswoman speaking out can change. His police colleagues, his chief of police, and all of his colleagues testified against him. That never happens. Police officers notoriously protect one another.
Really? There you go. I'm sorry, but I can't take a white middle-aged woman sitting in her big, beautiful house going on about civil rights. Oops. There she goes, repeating what she heard. Hey, rusty toddler.
Protect and serve and protect each other. And this time, those officers got up on stand and said, this was excessive, this was unnecessary, this was outside the scope of our training.
Now, someone says, BS crazy Maxine Walters, that person's going to get kicked. Again, painting everyone with the same brush. One cop bad, all cops bad. She's a horrible human.
This was illegal. This was murder. Those officers those are good officers. If you can cut rank and not protect the bad cops, those are the kinds of officers we need more of. Because Derek Chauvin should never be protected. So I am...
You know how she was going on about, you know, the Duggars and this corporal punishment and everything, or corporal punishment that she accuses them of setting up for the kids. It sounds like that's what she wants for Derek Chauvin. How is it different? I'm just putting it out there. I just ask questions. Wait, I thought she said all cops in Minnesota are bad and racist. She did yesterday. Police over here in the UK have rotten officers. Every police force have rotten officers. I think unless you personally have been accosted by cops, you have an outside view. It's very different when you're caught in what seems to be a trap. And she's doing it for money. She hopes that she makes money. Well, this is on Instagram, so this isn't on YouTube. But she's wanting people to watch her YouTube videos. That's what this is about. Rick says it's almost like if you have humans serving as police officers, humans are fallible. I think we need robot cops. Ugh. Well, thank you, Strawberry. A good point. Yeah. Delete.
For the jury. I'm really grateful for the Attorney General, Keith Ellison. I'm so thankful for the prosecutor and the state for putting together such an amazing case. I am thankful for that,
So someone says, so do you still think all cops are bad now? The good guys testified against the bad guy. Oh, I've seen the documentary RoboCop, Rick, and I have questions. Hello, Butterfly Kisses. Oh, hope you're doing well.
His murder, as hard as that was to see. I think we all got to see firsthand just how blatantly bad policing goes and how we just can't continue to have stuff like this.
You can buy badges, but her badges aren't working. I'm wondering whether they've taken that off her. Because when I first went live, it said that you couldn't the badges were no longer working. Split my coffee over my keyboard. The police have transferred from protect and serve status to militaristic stance. Everyone is the enemy. Shoot first, ask questions later. It's frightening, says Rusty Toddler.
So we still have a lot to do. The president actually spoke tonight and talked about how reform has to happen. And it's true. Reform has to happen. You can't continue on this. We have to have laws. We have to have laws for policing. We have to have federal laws to protect. And I am just...
Does she realize you can actually hear the deletes? Is the naked shoulder a thing now? When does post she dresses like an 80-year-old, but when it's a matter is serious, she flips out off the shoulder? I don't know, but it seems to be something she does. Has he been sentenced? Just want to say the police went over and above out of their way to help me and my children when something happened. They cared like family. Helped a lot. Not all are bad. No, he hasn't been sentenced yet. He was just found guilty. Oops, we do have federal laws to protect. They protect them. KJ and her we what? She doesn't do anything. So 8 weeks, is it? Christoph Fanalways? All right.
Really glad tonight.
Delete.
So, long story short, today was a good day. We still have so much more that we need to do. And I am exhausted. And then we still have so much more to do. Dark hairs and all. Thank you. Because Dante Wright was literally just murdered a week ago. So it's like we can be happy for justice, and then it's just a stark reminder that people are still dying. So this moment doesn't erase the fact that there's still so much work to do. And I felt so inspired listening to George Floyd's family today talk about how they are going to use this tragedy to change the world. And I just kept thinking, like, this is kind of the example that we should all be aspiring to. In the face of so much tragedy, in the face of so much evil and so much hate, they are legitimately going to
Okay. So it's very interesting, all of this stuff, isn't it? Like, seriously. You're not interrupting butterfly kisses. No. If vote KJ next YouTube president. She can't finish a sentence. Yeah. She cannot call herself a journalist. She makes tragedy worse and finds it all about her. Every person of colour who commented on her behaviour through this has stated that she doesn't speak for them. Yes, and she's also deleted them all. Hey, Kelly, welcome. I don't know that I don't think that Dante Wright's death is as can be is so easily to class as murder. I'm not sure that I think it's going to be found as accidental, but that's just my opinion. That's just what I think, based on what I've seen, because I watched the footage. We watched the footage on here the other day. I don't believe it was intentional. So, but I know that. Hello, Tia.
to change the world, and I think we can do it. Oh, Dicey says, it's like Trevor Noah said, the system is a rotten tree that happens to occasionally produce good fruit. We need police reform. We shouldn't be pouring millions of dollars into a system that we fear. Yeah, we definitely need reform, for sure. And we need from the top down. And we need everything. I mean, it needs to all, just the whole system, the whole justice system. Even the president was talking about it tonight, just how it is stacked against individuals of color. And
Peter, I've not been able to watch that milkshake ad, but yes, I believe that's it. Was she that happy about the verdict? And yes, she was. Yes, she was, Kelly Jones. She was screaming that. Yes. Tell ya. I think it says a lot. She seems to know no more about the case than any random here in Australia, but presents like she's personally affected. Yeah. I think you might be right there, Poppy. Well, she didn't watch any of the trial except the verdict, which I thought was very interesting.
we are, this racism and this systemic racism is a stain on our nation. It's an embarrassment to the world. It is a huge.
I'm happy to show it. It is quite ridiculous. Like, it is really ridiculous, and I wasn't going to show it, but it, like, you've got to see it to believe it, seriously, because it is like she's calling out. So Dina says, just joined. Did you hear about the 16-year-old black girl that was shot by a cop today? She's about to go off at everybody.
Problem to all of us. And if it doesn't change, it's going to end up being our undoing. And it's like, I'm sitting here like, how many more people have to die before we actually start to do something?
Now, remember that. She's just asked the question, how many more people before we start doing something? Somebody's just talked to her about the shooting in Columbus, okay? Remember that. Remember those two things.
Or some change is actually made. How many more people have to, like, die before something changes?
Gingerly, I will definitely let you know. I'm not sure if I'm going to, I don't know that I will show it, but I can direct people where they can see it if they want to see it. I might just put the link on it and you can watch it at your own risk. Okay, remember she's about to, so remember she said how many more people are going to die? Someone's just alerted her to a fact of another shooting. All right, watch this.
I haven't watched any more news today. So, I'm not answering questions right now about other shows, and I'm really not answering questions for the most part. I appreciate you guys chatting, but I'm not here to speak about anything else than what we're talking about right now. I'm not here to talk about tea. I'm not here to talk about Teen Mom or whoever you want me to talk about. I just came on here because I was watching the president speak. I watched the Floyd family speak. I was watching the news all afternoon.
So someone says, well, let's just talk about those ugly brows. So someone's just alerted her to another shooting of the 16-year-old black girl, and she's saying, I'm not talking about anything else other than what I'm talking about. But she just asked the question about how many. She's not answering the question, what's the point of in them watching? The other shooting happened right after the verdict. She just believes she's a... Yes, well, see, I would, but except she just said about people are telling her about it, and she could have said, she could have gone off her live, gone and looked it up, and then come back to continue her rant. Why isn't she talking about the 7-year-old girl being shot at McDonald's? Why isn't she after that murder?
Afternoon, and I just wanted to share how I was feeling about this moment. And there's all kinds of other stuff. There's all kinds of other stuff going on in the world that right now I can't think about. And I don't want to talk about. So, George Floyd, his family is going to sleep better tonight. His daughters received justice. Derek Chauvin is in prison tonight. Yeah, quotas and policing just seems crazy to me. You know, I was listening on the way home. I was listening to NPR.
No, she said, I was listening on the way home. I'll play that back for you. Have a listen.
Yeah, quotas and policing just seems crazy to me. You know, I was listening on the way home. I was listening
on the way home. On the way home. Everybody heard that, did you? You all heard on the way home? Yep. This is so scripted and fake, says Michelle. Nobody cares how she feels about it, just like no one cares how I feel about anything, but that is how the world is. We are not supposed to be on a pedestal like she wants to be. Yes, so she's on the way home.
And they were interviewing some cops, right? And I think it was like the chief, somebody in Brooklyn Center. And I was actually horrified at them listening to this justification. There are 600,000 people, or there's 600,000 tabs that are backlogged right now in the state of Minnesota. And traffic stops because of tabs really aren't supposed to happen because of the massive backlog because of COVID, and then they changed over our system. So like the automated system, it got all messed up and it's taking forever to process tabs. Dante literally
So what she's forgetting is that there are people who watch her from Minnesota who will actually say, no, that's not quite right. Because somebody did point out that the figure that she stated was for expired tabs. Hey, let's talk about her getting the vaccine. What is up with that? She wanted that vaccine so bad. Now she can have it. So Rick says, incorrect. 4 weeks ago, I got tabs. It took me 30 minutes to get tabs. So there you go. See, there's always someone from Minnesota. Why is she watching her phone and driving? Seems to be the first thing, like, she doesn't do the research. Right.
Somebody in Brooklyn Center. And I was actually horrified at them listening to this justification. There are 600,000 people, or there's 600,000 tabs that are backlogged right now in the state of Minnesota. And traffic stops because of tabs really aren't supposed to happen because of the massive backlog because of COVID, and then they changed over our system. So like the automated system, it got all messed up and it's taking forever to process tabs. Dante literally had just gotten that car, so it's like, of course he had expired tabs. Because everyone...
What? Don't you buy a car with registration? Why in the world does she think she's a Don expert in every field? I'm in Minnesota and there isn't a backlog. 600,000 tags backlogged. What? Yes, and strawberries from Minnesota as well. So we got some Minnesotans in here. And they're saying, no, that's not correct. Which is 630 people. The tabs might have been for a previous car and it may not have been transferred. In Minnesota, when you buy a car, you transfer the title at the DMV and register at the same time. So could it have, but then it would have been under the old, if what she's saying is true, it would have been under the old owner's details. So if she's trying to look, she really needs them to show how to wear those sweatshirts. She can look classy, but she looks trashy. Are you okay, Strawberry? People asked her about why she hadn't got the vaccine, and she said she couldn't get an appointment. The changeover is due to Homeland Security. Every state has to change. It's more like getting a passport now. Minnesota. Okay. That wasn't the greatest explanation. All right. That's lexicon. Oh, look, I can't say it right either, Gail. Let's just blame the fact that we've got Australian accents, eh?
And traffic stops because of tabs really aren't supposed to happen because of the massive backlog because of COVID, and then they changed over our system. So like the automated system, it got all messed up and it's taking forever to process tabs. Dante literally had just gotten that car, so it's like, of course he had expired tabs because everyone's waiting for tabs.
Everybody's waiting for tabs, apparently. You're going to go live and go in. Lies and slanders on more lies and slanders. I'm home now. Cool. Lexicon says vaccines available across the US. I suspect she's fearful of the sudden side effects taking her camera time. That's probably more true. We used to have a drink called Tab, so every time she says tabs, I'm thinking of the Tab drink. Lady of the Evening. Doesn't want one to say so. Everything is a lie with her. Saltsy has how many more? I don't know how many. Usually cars come in with temporary tags. Okay. Those tabs drive me nuts. Well, see, we don't have anything on our cars. We have nothing on our cars. We don't get sent anything. All I've got is a receipt that is emailed to me to say that it's up to date. Every single car, every single police car is fitted with a number plate reader. They scan the number plate. They know whether it's expired or whether it's current. If it's expired, they pull the car over. Why is everything right now about black or white? Why not talk about rappers killing rappers or mothers killing kids? Are we really going to make it about racism? Joe, Tab is also the betting. Yes, it is. But Tab is the betting place. Didn't he have an outstanding? He did have an outstanding warrant as well. I used to drink 6 of those tabs every day. Wow. Used to drink Tab? I believe his tabs were expired. Tag is license plate in its entirety. Tabs are the stickers for month, year. We definitely call them tabs here in Minnesota. Right. Tab is the diet soda. My grandma. Doesn't even matter whether they were expired or not. No one should die at a routine traffic stop. It sounds like a terrible tragedy regardless of circumstances. Jessica, that's right. It's a tragedy. Tab is a nasty drink. You're lucky we have license plate inspection stickers. Okay. Well, if you had an outstanding warrant for firearm possession, I could understand why you'd be a little bit nervous approaching him. Elle McPherson, Tab is an icon. I really want to send her a list of locations close to her that are offering the vaccine, like Walmart and Maple Grove she showcased the other day. A Tab. Every time she says Tab, I think, oh, hey, the bars. Open up today. No offense to any race, but anyone would think everyone should get equal airtime when dealing with an awful tragedy. And sending people home, that terrified me. Tab was liquid. Bad cop, bad cop. What you gonna do? Bad cop, bad cop. What you gonna do? What you gonna do? What you coming for? You bad cop, bad cop. All right.
So I'm like listening to this police officer justify that he was right to stop him. And I'm thinking, no, he's not. Why are you stopping anyone with expired tabs right now? Knowing what's going on with the DMV. Why even bother? It seems like a petty stop. It seems like racial profiling. I just don't get it. It all just seems so
All right. Here's the thing. She just said he just bought the car. If the car had not been changed over yet, how could they have racially profiled? Because they would have had to have known who was driving. They would have known the owner, had to have known the owner of the car. Like, how can it be? How is it racial profiling? The only way they would know is if they'd seen who the driver was. How can you tell from the back of a car who's driving it? Now I have in my head. Oh. And if you notice, I don't know whether you noticed, I got stopped when I was late on inspection sticker. If you notice, her chat hasn't been moving. People aren't talking. Well, I guess when you block everybody, nobody chats.
So a tab is a tag. That's what we call them in Minnesota. 600,000 tabs are behind. Yeah. It's your registration for your car. So no, we don't call them tags here. They're called tabs. They're the stickers that go on your car. They're not an inspection sticker. They're registration stickers. It's your like annual tax for your car so that you register your car. Yeah. Yeah.
So they have computer screens in their cars when they run your tag, your license plate. But if she was saying that he'd only just bought the car, so how would they have known it was him? Is what I'm saying. If she was really this strong, she would have been out with the protests. Oh, really? Maybe that. So someone says that they got stopped for both. The outstanding warrant was a misdemeanor warrant, not for a felon. Was not even a felony arrest. Okay.
Today was accountability for a bad cop that murdered someone. And you know what? Derek Chauvin is facing fraud charges still.
She's laughing at that.
At the same time that he was arrested for murder.
Look at that smile. Don't mess with your bald spot, KJ. It needs to have new growth. If not for current health concerns, I'd be peacefully protesting.
So, at the same time that he was arrested for murder, he was arrested for tax fraud. So, like, all these people that want to justify him and be like, oh, he's a good cop. Good people don't rip off taxes. Like, he and his wife were like, did something, and they had all this money.
It's ex-wife now because she's divorced him, so it's ex-wife. So it's not either for side effects or fear of leaving the home. Someone says, I love your sweater, Katie. How do we know if it's true? Good people don't believe you, KJ. She did show she did go show the court documents for his tax fraud case too.
That they were like, they bought a bunch of stuff that they weren't supposed to have. Like, he's facing federal charges in a tax fraud. So he has more time in prison coming. And I was looking at I don't know how old he is, but he could be in jail for a very long time. One of the charges carries 25 years.
Now, someone says, my cousin was just on your live. Did you ban her? Now, I'm thinking English isn't the first language because their spelling's wrong, and somebody actually criticizes them for their misspelling.
I don't know how the judge is going to sentence him at all. Scary.
Because I spelled cousin with C-U-S-I-O-N. And then she can't comment. They did something like that, was about something like that, was like stuff like that should be.
So,
long story short,
everyone's having a good night. I hope you guys.
I hope everyone's having a good night.
Have a good night. As tempted as the trolls are trying to bait me, I'm not going to respond. And I just want to take this moment to decompress. So, I have always been someone that will speak out about things, and I'm not going to stop. I don't care if it's not popular. I don't care if you don't agree. I don't care if you want to call me a liberal. This is who I am, and I'm just tired of seeing this, and I'm not going to be complicit, and I'm not.
Right, complicit's a new word because she's used it a few times. Someone says, nice spelling, and it's ban, not banned. Love your work, Kate. Love you, Katie. Keep up the good work. Well, the person with the cousin has her name as Iowa State. Yeah, well, I don't know whether they're being silly or not, but, you know. Did she just kiss us? I don't know. KJ, I don't care, 2021. Troll anyone that disagrees with her.
I feel like if you have a platform and you aren't speaking out against something, then you become part of the problem. And if you don't share, and if you are complicit and apathetic.
She's used the word complicit again. Funny though, she lives in a liberal state and city, so if there are problems that she claims with policing, why don't they fix it? She's used complicit again. So she's going to say that I'm bad because I don't use my platform. I use my platform for good, KJ.
It does nothing to build awareness, to evoke change. We need more people that have platforms to speak out and talk and share their stories and to listen. We need more people to stop being bent by public opinion and being afraid to speak out or being afraid people will unfollow you.
No, Laurie Smith hasn't popped in. There's still 10 minutes on this live, PR. I really love these lives, but they're way too early for me.
I'll tell you something. If someone's going to unfollow you because you're speaking out against racism, they're not the kind of people you should want following you. Like, you should just not want racists following you. Kind of like when I speak out against homophobia. If you're going to unfollow me because you don't like gay people, then I don't want you following me anyway. Like,
well, I don't. I don't follow you anyway. Oh. Shut up, see Christoph Eloise.
my hope is that people would open their eyes and stop being so personally offended and trying to find reasons to blame victims.
She blamed Jill. She blamed Jill yesterday for she blamed Jill for what happened to her. She thinks she's so brave. She isn't brave at all in her house with her delete button in hand. But you aren't gay people, her words. She's so patronizing and condescending. I can't. It's not because you're speaking about racism, it's you. Oh dear Lord, I'm yelling at my TV. I was blocked forever ago. How about some introspective KJ? Isn't that Dennett the same one that mentioned the young POC that was killed earlier and was ignored? Yes, correct. KJ, there is a difference between supporting a cause and speaking on it and using a cause to make money. Says Tamara.
And maybe we can stop blaming the victims of these crimes. Maybe reform to the police can be reform for everything. Reform for how people of color are treated, reform for how victims of sex crimes are treated, reform for victims of domestic violence are treated. I feel like the only safe people when it comes to police work are white men. If you're a victim and you're not a white man,
okay, so someone says, I just started following you on Instagram. Always watch your YouTube. Do you do lives often on here? You're about to hear a great answer. I'll have to add that to my song playlist. I will. Yeah, she did just say that. I said she heard a lot of people and my YouTube comment was deleted on Twitter. I said, out of sight, out of mind, Kate, and she blocked me. I yell at her all the time, and my honey says, "Who are you yelling at?" I say, "KJ." He rolls his eyes. I was yelling today as well. I was yelling. I don't have somebody tell, although my children told me off today for yelling. I only have my kids tell me off.
Everything is stacked against you. So I can empathize. I don't do lives on here frequently. No.
Did you just hear that? Did you just hear what she said? My family and I were blocked last year when Toad became a stay-at-home dad. Did you hear what she just said? In political science and sociology class, do economics next Katie for more rounded social than only 3 times every night. She's hardly on there. Frequently every 5 minutes, every hour. That's okay. I yell at all kinds of names when I see her. My dogs are used to it. Does it 2 times often. Just don't throw anything at the TV. She's set up with wifey at home. KJ's ready for arranged marriage. No evidence because she deletes all. Well, if you actually look at the evidence of lives, there's not much evidence. Is that person asking if she does lives often? Why is that? So they can stay away. Gift. You missed it. All right, I'm just going to do that again for you. We'll take it back a little bit.
And trying to find reasons to blame victims. And maybe we can stop blaming the victims of these crimes. Maybe reform to the police can be reform for everything. Reform for how people of color are treated. Reform for how...
Actually, she does a live on every day that ends in Y. If it ends in Y, there's a live.
Victims of sex crimes are treated. Reform for victims of domestic violence are treated. I feel like the only safe people when it comes to police work are white men. If you're a victim and you're not a white man, it's like everything is stacked against you. So I can empathize. I don't do lives on here frequently, no. Just tonight I jumped on because of everything that happened with George Floyd.
There you go, you heard it. Oh, obviously, when she's not working on her taxes or any alone time truth, and KJ, like, oh.
I haven't checked the news about what happened in Columbus, so I haven't had a chance to see what's going on in Columbus. I'll comment on it when I see it, but I don't want to comment on something that I haven't read about yet.
Really? I thought she was good at Hello Channel Manager. Oh, poor KJ having power responsibility of the whole world and reported he must be a heavyweight on the shots. How could you say that? Shocker, she re-enabled Twitter just before the Chauvin verdict. She was. She was on IG. All right. It was a special event that brought her to do a live on it. It was a special event. Now she's going to bring it all back to her. So she has stats when she comes with topics about crime. No, she doesn't have stats. She's going to talk about what happened to her.
But I'll take a look when I get offline. Thanks for bringing that up to me.
No, she's slowing down her speech.
It's weird. Normally people are like always commenting and it's 9:30 here. There's literally no one typing. It's the weirdest thing. It's like everyone's just watching me. Nobody's saying anything. It's so bizarre. Usually the chat's going like, boo.
Yeah, because you blocked everybody.
It's a somber mood for sure. Like, I don't even know why. Absolutely, Nick. Thanks for being in LA.
Someone says, I'm listening and learning. It's so weird. No one is typing. I banned everyone. Where does she get her news? From Don Lemon, of course, on CNN. And that's why she couldn't comment on Columbus, because Don Lemon hasn't told her how to say it, what to say.
Hey, tell me if I'm doing it wrong, okay? Like, I don't ever want to be someone that's like performative. I don't want to be someone that's doing this to gain anything. This is nothing. This is not about gain for me.
It's not about gain. You're right. KJ, you're doing it wrong. Everyone get in line. What a shame the way smaller platforms to never be able to have an adult conversation. It's been said, we know you watch these streams every day. Second number, wait your turn. I'm sorry, did you just say that? Yes, you did. Oh boy, yes. Oh, okay.
I don't care about gaining anything. I just want change.
She wants change.
I don't want to live in a world like this anymore. I don't want anyone to be victims of the cops. I just wonder, what is it about some police that gives them this belief that they get to, your heart button isn't working? You know, why do some police do this? I just wonder, is it because they're protected? Is it because the unions protect them? Is it because the code of protecting each other, so they all kind of feel like emboldened? Is it the culture? They think they're above the law because time and time again they get away with it. You know, I was thinking about that. I was thinking about my own experience with the cops, which has nothing to do with race, obviously, but I was raped. And I was thinking about my experience with the cops and how poorly I was treated by the detectives. And how when I reported the incident and 10, 15 years later, I still don't have the results of my rape kit. And I filed a complaint and I asked for a review. They protected each other and said, oh, nothing's wrong here. You know, they did everything under protocol. It's not that big of a deal. Oh, you were treated like that? Well, I'm sorry you were treated like that. Today, if it happened today, you wouldn't be treated like that. But back then, they could treat you like that. Back then, they could treat you like shit and act like you're a slut, so you deserved it. It's like, they didn't say those exact words, obviously, being sarcastic, but they protect each other. Like, how do you have accountability for a police officer if you say he did nothing wrong? when someone who was a victim tells you they have post-traumatic stress because of the way they were treated because of that person. You know, like, they don't care. Sad. All right.
Oh, that was the impression I thought so too, Rick. I thought that was the impression that I got. I haven't seen the police report, to be honest with you. I don't know, but but I don't know how we went from this. We went from George Floyd to her, but it's come back to her.
I don't know who these people are. I'm afraid to go live with people.
People wanted to go live with her.
It's a cult. The police is a cult and a gang.
Why is she looking away and around?
Thank you, Unique. I'm sorry any of you go through this. I'm sorry if any of you are victims of cops. It sucks. You shouldn't become more victimized by trying to go to the law to get help.
So someone says your humanity is inspiring. Then someone says Maxine Walters sure stuck her foot in her mouth. Do you think it will possibly overturn the verdict? And she'll say, I've already spoken about this. A quick bad racist cop story. We picked up a POC friend of mine. My tag was a week out of date. We forgot we were pulled over, made to get out the car. Car search questioned. Oh, she's picking at her feet, is she? Yes. Oh.
You know what I mean? Like, you should feel less victimized. You should feel like when you're going to the police, they're going to help you. They shouldn't be adding more trauma to your life. I don't want to talk about Maxine Waters. I think it's a smokescreen. It's a gaslighting thing, and I'm not talking about Maxine. If you want to focus on Maxine Waters and you want to be gaslit to believe that a congressperson is going to change the ruling, you are barking up the wrong tree.
She said it as fact, people. She said it as fact. The judge was wrong. Judge was wrong. That has no bearing on the case. You've heard it from there.
Barking up the wrong tree. Her comments don't change the evidence. Her comments don't change the prosecution. Her comments don't change the witnesses, the evidence, and everything else. So who cares what a congresswoman said? Our jurors aren't going to be swayed by some congresswoman that's not even from Minnesota. I love how, like, the media has to glom on to the person that they think is the scapegoat. Oh, she's going to get everything overturned. The judge said...
Don't know what she's doing. People yelling that she had been quiet about Trump and the others who were following it. KJ's comments don't change the truth. And they were. I can only imagine what you've all been through. Our new child but the motorbike last year. My heart stopped for a few minutes. Your comments affect. No, but her comments may have changed the jury. Why is she so dumb? Because she doesn't want to. She doesn't want to face the fact that it could have happened. Okay, extra angry KJ. I'm surprised KJ doesn't like. Oh, really? She's biting her toenails right now. I don't.
Said so. They're full of it. They're full of it. It is terrible the way that I was treated, but it's terrible how a lot of people are treated by the cops.
Oh,
All right.
she's cutting her toenails by the looks of it, people.
So, long story short, it's a mess. And I hope those of you who, I already talked about Maxine in the very beginning. So, anyways, I hope you guys have a good night. Who cares what Maxine Waters said? Doesn't change anything. If you want to worry about what Maxine says, go spend your time watching Fox News, because I'm sure Fox News and all of the right pundits, that those are the only people tonight that are giving two shits what Maxine said. People that actually care about George, who care about civil rights, and who care about justice are not talking about Maxine right now, and I'm not going to spend any more time talking about her. Right, we don't need to be putting that kind of energy out into the universe. Exactly. Exactly. Power of the tongue. I wasn't yelling at you, Dina. I'm just talking in general. Like, that comment isn't to you, Dina. That literally comment is to all the right pundits that are like, gonna put this on Maxine Waters. So, anyways.
There you go. So there you go. That was her live. What do you reckon? Right, Rick. I am angry the judge brought it up because the killing of and driver stopped. Yeah. She has some last word like she cares about George Floyd. I wonder if she would have welcomed Jimmy to her home. Power of the tongue, new t-shirt. She just ended it like that, yeah. That's how she ended it. She was not having a bar of it. So that's how she ended it. Just checking to see whether she's done anything so far. Yep. So there you go. Oh, look, the defense would have to bring it up. I mean, the defense would be crazy not to bring it up as you're gonna, if you're the defense, she ends it when things gets rough, assessing us. If you're defending someone, you're gonna look for every single little thing that you can use. Oh, she's already posted again. You're not gonna believe this. Hello, I sent you a friend request. It's another video. Okay, I haven't checked Twitter. This is Instagram. We're back on George Floyd again. So have we nearly done 24 hours? All right. So there is no such thing as snitching law enforcement. The fact that a woman said without a thought, you can call me a snitch because she witnessed the officers on top of George Floyd for so long tells me these cops have a long history of lying for each other. When your culture is to lie, cover up, write false reports so you can abuse, kill, harm citizens with no consequences, the system needs to be completely dismantled and changed. Being a cop is a privilege. It is not a right. It is not a right for police officers to use their authority. Sorry, I just realised I wasn't showing it to you. Not right for police officers to use their authority to kill people. Thank you to Janice Scurry for snitching and not following the code of blindly defending the police officers. That's what she's written. Well, usually there is no grounds of, and that's how the legal system works. Yes, they will appeal. Oh, thank you. Yeah. So anyway, so that's her. That's the So let's have a look at Twitter. But at some point in time, in my my view is, you've said your piece. Now let it rest. Yes, we're grateful. I am grateful for everybody that's here. No, there's not been an update. There are some strong accusations. Too bad she can't be held responsible for what she says. Well, I'm just waiting for them to call my name if I don't run off being chicken. Well, as I said, I'm down the bottom of the list, so it's probably... oh, it's Twitter time. No, there's no Twitter now. It's done. She didn't post. I'm out of cigs. I need to quit, but this e-cig is too harsh today. I probably won't be able. I won't be eligible for my first one until next year, probably. Yes, cop slide straight up from the beginning. Yeah. Yeah. Good luck, Sazzy Noz. You forgot to like. Yes, so please make sure you like the live. I'm 2 subs away from hitting 1.2 thousand, 1,200. That would be really cool. But yes, I'm going to call it a night. So tomorrow, if you can get into Australia, she probably broke Twitter. Tomorrow, I have my assessment to. Oh, really? It shows I already have 1.2. Wow, cool. Thank you, everybody. I have an assessment tomorrow, and it's a music assessment. I did my recording today. I did it in one take. CNN is reporting on the shooting in Ohio with the knife. The police have posted the body cam video. You're going to be locked up to every way. Well, you know what? Our vaccine program's all being messed up too, and yeah, it looks like I'm not going to be eligible for mine until next year, which means I won't be able to go anywhere. Yeah, it's 1198. Yeah, it's rounding. So I'll have a music video for you. I'll have a music thing to play tomorrow because I've got my assessment tomorrow. Once it's been submitted, but once it's been played for the teachers, I'll be posting it online so you get to hear it again. So cool. Well, thank you, Heidi. Look, it is very hard, and I know that, and it's a very sensitive topic, and I know that people have different opinions, and I want you to be able to express those opinions safely and respectfully. But I also, as I said, like there's been another Instagram picture of it. At some point in time, it has to stop because we can't bring him back. And ranting and raving about it doesn't do anything with, you've got to show with your actions. Yeah. Oh, thank you. Yeah, we'll see how we go for the. In the US, as of a couple of days ago, yeah, no. Well, they haven't even vaccinated not all the people that need all the airline, all the people, frontline people haven't been done, all the aged care people haven't been done, all the residents haven't been done, all the people that were first in line still haven't been done. And yeah, so anyway, all I know is that I'm down the bottom of the list. You should be done in July. Lucky you. But now they want to say that if you've had that, they'll let you out the country and back in the country if you've had the vaccine. Guess who's had the vaccine? All the politicians. Although I'm happy for the politicians to leave the country and not come back, though. I know you're talking about KJ not getting hers. Yeah, I know that, Heidi. I'm just saying, it'll be a long time before I can get mine. All right. So thank you, everybody. Plus, I also have to have this because we're going into winter. We have to have the flu vax. So all the elderly people have to have the flu vax and then wait for 2 weeks to get their first vaccination. Anyway, thank you. I believe Crystal Bill is streaming as well, so you might be able to go jump into hers, into Bill's stream, and have some fun. Oh, I've just hit 1199. I need one more sub to hit. Okay, yep. So have a great morning, whatever time of day it is. So yes, but go jump into Bill's stream. That's where